Hey there, I'm GrinDark, and today we will be reviewing some of the lesser-known cryptids rumored to roam the Earth. Cryptids are simply creatures that are believed to exist but lack sufficient evidence to support its existence. You may have heard of Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, and perhaps even Mothman. But in this video, we will explore some of the lesser-known cryptids rumored to exist.
You might have Flap and the rich lady under your spell, but it's gonna take more than that.
First, let's start in Africa. In the depths of the rainforest of the Congo is said to exist a large reptile-like creature with planks growing out of its back, known as Mbilu. And I did not struggle to pronounce that even once during recording. Local villagers claim that the creature has green algae on the exposed parts of its body when emerging from the waters it inhabits. Interestingly, most villagers who have reported seeing the creature say it is generally mostly submerged in the water, with the long green planks on its back exposed. Well, interestingly, some have speculated that this cryptid may be an aquatic or semi-aquatic stegosaurus, but sadly, with very little scientific evidence to back up the claims of its existence, chances are that it's just a legend. My guess is it sadly may be a misidentified animal like a hippo or some ominous-looking debris floating down a river like a tree, which would explain the green planks. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big dino guy, but there's no shot ones just roaming around the Congo. What do you think? Now for this next one, the American Weekly newspaper wrote an interesting account of an unusual cryptid on January 4th, 1925. The newspaper reported that a Mississippi man named W.C. Bryant supposedly encountered the impossible while on the island of Mindanao in the Philippines. According to the account, Bryant came across a gray-colored tree that was 35 feet tall and 90 feet in diameter. Surrounding the tree was a variety of human bones which emitted the smell of carrion. Bryant saw a human skull and decided to investigate. As he drew closer to the skull, his guide suddenly stopped him and pointed to the tree in an obvious panic. And it was at this point that Bryant noticed the tree was reaching for him. It was said the tree's limbs began to move from side to side in the direction of their target, like a snake rather than a limb. As they got out of the reach of the tree, they saw it cracking, hissing, and stretching as close as it could in an attempt to reach them, even thrashing about in obvious frustration when it failed to do so. Now, this account is definitely very strange, but to me this could be a couple of things. An inexperienced Mississippi man could have accidentally or purposefully eaten something hallucinogenic, which could have caused a vision of a man-eating tree to appear to him. It could have been a crazy gust of wind that Brian interpreted as an intelligent, murderous tree. Or it could have been a hoax in order to gain some interest upon returning to the States. But, regardless, a pretty interesting case nonetheless. Next up, beginning in 1979, a strange green figure began to terrify local visitors at Red Reef Park in Florida. One of the most notable sightings was made by an elderly couple as they walked through the park late in the evening. The woman noticed a green shroud hidden amongst the foliage and decided to get a closer look at what she had thought was a local bird hiding there. She was shocked to find that a figure was hidden there instead. He turned to look at her with bright amber eyes. Terrified, the couple ran away. The Moss Man, as he is called, is described as a humanoid covered entirely in a green moss or similar foliage. It is described as being tall, up to 7.5 feet, and as heavy as 450 pounds, although when they managed to measure the creature's weight is totally beyond me. They say the long leafy growths that sprout from its body acts as a form of camouflage while it stalks its victims or to help it remain hidden. But to me, it's pretty clear that this is a man in a ghillie suit, trolling like an epic gamer, or a very drunk man who got covered in seaweed. What do you think? This next one I thought was especially interesting. Back in 1959, Remy van Leerd, whose name I may have just butchered, served as a colonel in the Belgian Air Force. While returning from a mission, he was en route back to Kamina Air Base in the Congo. On his way back, looking out the helicopter, he reported seeing a massive snake. He described it as being nearly 50 feet long, with a head that was 2 feet wide and 3 feet long, and was triangular in shape. The creature had dark green and brown scales, with a whitish underside. Some say it is a massively oversized African rock python, or maybe a living descendant of a now extinct massive snake, similar to Titanoboa. I think it is possible that Remy saw a snake, perhaps even a massive snake, but one the size that he's describing would rival some of the biggest snakes that have ever lived, and those snakes lived in much more favorable conditions to support that size. To me, this is a simple case of fisherman syndrome, exaggerating the size of something they caught or saw, but what do you think? And there you have it. A few of the more obscure cryptids rumored to exist out there. Only during the editing of this video did I realize I had an unofficial theme of green monsters going on, like a green snake, a tree, stuff like that, but whatever. I know this video has been a bit of a change of pace, as I normally just trash on creepypasta stuff, but I enjoyed making and researching this video, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Please leave me a comment below so I know what you think, and sub for more GrinDark.